Hey, guess what? You see this? This is a party hat. Why am I wearing a party hat? Because today is the 5-year anniversary of
Surprise!
Oh my gosh!
Pierce Pups Productions!
Now hang on just a second. I know what you're probably thinking. Nico, is it even possible to make a list like this? Out of the 50 videos that you have on your channel, you already have a top 5 best and worst Pierce Puppets Productions video? Well, to be honest, this is not really what you think. Some of you may know that I originally started on IGTV before I went to YouTube. And I did release a couple videos over there, but then I knew that I wasn't able to grow an audience there. So I decided to make the jump from IGTV to YouTube. And that was honestly one of the best decisions I ever made. And during that time, I have made some really good videos throughout the years that not only I can enjoy, but the fans can enjoy as well. However, at the same time, I have released a whole ton of stinkers, and I could literally make an entire list based on the entire stinkers I've posted on the channel. But since this is the 5-year anniversary of Pierce Puppets Productions, I decided that I would take 5 of some of my best videos and 5 of some of my worst videos and compile them all into this one big list. Now for this list, I only have 3 rules. Rule number 1 is that no short posts are allowed. The reason for that being is, well, they're short posts. They're either really bad or really good. And it would kind of be unfair to put them on a list to really talk about my best and worst works forever. So those ones are being excluded. Rule number 2, both eras of where I posted videos are allowed to be on this list. So both the IGTV era and both the YouTube era are allowed to be on this list. Because, well, I can't just exclude one era and include another. That would just be unfair. So both of them are fair game. Rule number 3 is that the videos have to be at least 80% original. So that means that there won't be any dubbing videos.
What do you mean by that?
Any in Pearson's videos or any of that. Only the true Pierce Puppets Productions videos that I've put work into. Because, well, I could literally be biased with all of them, and I do not want to be biased on them. These are just going to be videos on what I believe and what you guys believe are some of the best and worst Pierce Puppets Productions videos. So to start, let's start off with the negatives, the top 5 worst videos. Now let me just make it clear, this list isn't a self-conning list. It is just a way so I can tell myself that I've made these mistakes and I am not to make them ever again. Who knows, maybe one day I'll actually make one of those mistakes again, but meh, whatever. Anyways, let's start off this list with the top 5 worst Pierce Puppets Productions videos ever made. Now let's start this list off with something big. Possibly one of the biggest Pierce Puppets Productions videos I have ever made. And when you look at it today, you can see that it actually was pretty big. But at the same time, you can see that it's also pretty flawed. And what video is that, however? Well, all you have to do is play this song. Yeah, I know, the one video that I put in S tier is now at the top 5 at the worst Pierce Puppets Productions videos. How did that happen? Well, for one, it's not the fact that it's Friday Night Funkin' in general. I like the game. However, the community, on the other hand, we're not even going to get into that. I think the problem as to why it's bad is because, well, there were a lot of things wrong with the episode. Firstly, I only rapped to 2 tracks from the main game. One being the main theme and the other being the tutorial. So yeah, pretty good start on the songs, but then I decided to use one of those free beats that you find on YouTube. Why did I think of that? I honestly do not know. And honestly, it caused the raps to be kinda trash.
Why hello the Chester, it's nice to see you, my friend. But I'm sorry to say you're waiting people dead.
I know, you're probably cringing in your seat just hearing that. I am too. Another problem was, well, some of the animations. The characters from the games are just fine, but if you look at the menu, yeah, pretty crude. Now, to be fair, I did sort of base off some of the designs from the characters from the games. Chester being boyfriend, Chelsea being girlfriend, Mordu being daddy dearest, etc. Now, explain to me why someone thought it'd be a good idea for me to base Flashmad on Skid. Look, I get it, it's the Spooky Man! But he's not that spooky, like he wouldn't do the Spooky Month dance. Honestly, trust me, he wouldn't. However, the reason why that it's so low on the list is because it's not all bad. The concept is actually pretty good, and Chester rapping against his other villains was actually a pretty good idea, all because Mordu was salty that he didn't win. And this was also an episode where I boosted up the editing quality, because when I was at school at the time, they allowed me to have all the Adobe assets for free. So I had Adobe Animate, Adobe Premiere Pro, all that stuff. So I used iMovie and Adobe Premiere Pro for my editing software. And you can see, especially in the tutorial scene, it had a really good effect on the episode. And I guess the Daddy Dearest segments were good as well, because, well, Mordu was at a bar, and basically, Daddy Dearest just appeared out of nowhere, which sort of fits the nature of Chester and the others. Like, anything could happen. Even one of my friends, Emily, took over the voice of Mommy Mirrors, and honestly, did an amazing job on it.
Well, honey, my friend over here keeps losing rap battles, so I hire people to win for him. However, it's a little too hard to do that when they rage quit in the middle of the match!
Honey, you know I love it when you're angry, but relax, please.
Just Emily being in this alone boosts up the quality. These are one of those episodes that I do end up want to remastering, maybe around the time when Friday Night Funkin' actually releases. And honestly, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. While it is not the worst Pierce Puzzle Productions video, with the amount of flaws that it has, you can tell it's at risk of getting blammed.
Still good, we have this device.
Now this next one is actually interesting because it's not just one entry on the list, but it's two. And the reason why it's because it's two is because, well, these two are just the worst ones in their series. Sounds strange, I know, but let me explain. We all know Douglas, right? The cowboy in the series that's known for being really well with gadgets for some reason, and having a really bad habit of picking up girls because all he does is simps for online characters in video games.
Yes, we were.
Everyone loves you.
Yes, we do.
Everyone wants to be you.
Yeah, we do.
You are the best.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The thing about that is, he was given an entire arc based on his simping capabilities. And honestly, it was a pretty good arc for the time. However, there were two entries in that entire series that just wasn't really that good. One of which was because it was a song cover, and the other because, well, it was just lower in quality from the others.
No freaking way! Chester, what's wrong?
That's right, both Keep the Lights On and Howling Aces are being a part of this list. Let's first start off with Sun's song. Well, I really just made this for fun, and I didn't really intend for it to be such a big thing because, well, I just thought of lyrics to the song and I thought I'd share it with all of you. But honestly, are any of you repeating the lyrics? Like if you hear the daycare song randomly playing one time, would those be the lyrics that you'd be singing? Didn't think so. Now I will give this one credit that while although it was the second one in the simping arc, this was before I really decided on it being an arc. That really hit home once I added Vanny to the mix.
Softly.
Are you having fun
Wait a-
yet?
Is that Vanny? Oh, she's hot.
Now after that arc was over, I thought I'd continue off the series with a spin-off. And honestly, that episode entry really shows that everyone is sick of Douglas's simping antics.
Chester, this is urgent.
Chris, we talked about what's urgent and what's not during Rubber Ducky Hour. This better be...
It's in 1901. Who's he going for this time?
Now don't get me wrong, I don't hate it per se. I mean, I still have a good laugh whenever I watch it. Just compared to the others, it's kind of lower than the others, because here's why. The others were just way more crazier. I mean, sure, it started off simple and just funny, but then after a while, you can see that the joke could get old pretty quickly. Now granted, no one told me that the joke got old, but like, this one is the lowest viewed, so that pretty much tells me what people think. Now to be fair, this is a different concept as to all the other episodes, and I think that's where the joke can work. As long as you take it in different concepts, it could lead to many more funny moments. However, if the episodes keep playing out like this, then maybe it's best to tell Douglas to just put the controller down and go touch some grass.
A brawl is surely brewing. And begin!
I know it's already enough that I put 2 entries from the Douglas Simp series into this list, but honestly, that entire series isn't that bad at all. I bet if you go back in and watch it, you'll find some bit of entertainment, and most importantly, some bit of a laugh. Because this series is technically considered a spin-off, there are plenty more areas to play around with it. Either you're laughing at the jokes, laughing at the chaos, or laughing at how far Douglas would go in order to simp for these characters, you can always find a way to laugh at this. The same cannot be said, though, about Sam and Jackman.
Bonjour, it's Sam!
And Jackman! I cannot think of a single moment where I enjoyed making this video. Back in the days of 2021, Chester and the Way What Happened to Nico was actually supposed to have a late July/early August release, but due to events that I'll talk about later in another video, that ultimately didn't happen. So I had to have a backup video prepared for the month, and the best that I could come up with is a horrible sitcom with Sam and Jackman. And no, not horrible as in so horrible it's good, I mean so horrible it's bad.
I got some very awesome news. You know that lady that moved in next door?
Who? That Karen-looking woman?
No, Sam, the sweet one.
Oh, the one who makes the cookies?
Oh, sure, Sam. The one who's been living here for 5 years that just moved in is the one who's making the cookies.
I really need to get my people memorized.
One of the problems that I have with the video is that, ironically, the puppetry is a bit on the lower side this time around. I think the main problem with this video is that I was just doing it with quantity over quality, because I was in a rush during the filming session, so the puppetry looked a bit off. Like the focus was all over the place, the mouths don't really move that well, and just like, it's just really painful to look at for me. The sad part is, a Sam and Jackman spin-off could actually work. Like, they should have an entire cooking series instead of a stupid sitcom. However, there is one part of the video that does get a chuckle out of me, and that's the scene where Sam is talking about making the soup, and he says this.
Mordu wanted a southern fried rattlesnake sprayed with spray cheese wrapped up in a tater tot casserole.
Don't tell me you put that in the soup.
Well, I was about to, but then I realized I could just put Mordu in an insane asylum instead.
Yeah, Mordu always has these weird combinations of food.
And honestly, if you don't get the joke right as Jackman says it, you're probably going to be confused throughout the whole video. And that soup joke that Sam made, that's probably the only joke you're gonna laugh at in this video, if you laugh at all. This really just goes to show that if you create the wrong type of spin-off or a set of characters, then this video's existence is probably a bigger joke than any joke told in this entire film.
You really need to stop this weird name trend. Wait, what? No, I'm not talking about what. I'm talking about the twin you just had. Oh, you named him Charlie?
What? No.
No, what's your first kid's name?
Now, it's no secret that I love video games. Something that I love more than video games is making videos based off of video games. Now, I know I put Chester and the Friday Night Funkin' at number 5 on this list, but honestly, there was still a lot of effort put into the video. And the same can be said with most of my video game videos. You can find some bit of enjoyment out of it because, well, there's a lot of passion put into it. However, there is one video game video where I purely put almost little to no effort into it. And to be honest, it's not really a video game. What do I mean by that? Well, in order to figure that out, I have to make a quick phone call. Give me a second.
Good question. Hey, Ben.
Ben?
Should I have Chris get the chips?
No.
So I should have him get the ice cream.
Yes?
Okay, Chris, I'll have the ice cream.
Ah, yes, it's true. I too was a part of the whole Talking Ben craze back in the day, and I immediately regret it. Now, some parts of the video were true. I was a huge fan of the whole Talking Friends series back in the day. Like, I had all of the apps on my parents' phone because I didn't have one. And yes, I too thought that the whole guy in the camera hoax was bogus. But what was even more bogus was this video. First problem, again, the puppetry. Chester apparently doesn't know where the camera is, and he doesn't know how to keep his head upright. And that's something that I had a problem with looking back. I've improved on it now, but looking back on it, you can see that he's just really struggling to keep his head upright. And the second problem of the video was just, well, the entire video itself. The video is not funny, the video is just pointless, and it was just another video to add on to all the other Talking Ben videos made at the time. This video really just goes to show that if you try way too hard to make a video like this, then the only thing your viewers are going to say to this video is,
See, he doesn't care. Nope.
Anyways, with that little mud out the way, before we get into the worst video on this list, I'd actually like to have 2 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is from a video that I honestly didn't really like the outcome of, but everyone seemed to like it. Once again, it's more on the bigger side of Pierce Pups Productions videos, but this video is not only one of the bigger ones, but actually, it's a video that's very important to the lore.
What the lore? The lore, guys, the lore!
And you're probably wondering, why is it so important? Well, because it was the introduction of Chester's second antagonist, Lester.
Whoa. This place looks great.
Ah yes, the sequel to Chester and the Valentine's Day special, and the video that created the most infamous line ever.
Shut up!
And it's still a running gag to this day. But you're probably wondering, why is it an honorable mention on the worst list? Well, do you remember the reasons why I hate What's the Kid's Name? Well, it's the same idea for this one. It was rushed. If you remember back in the days of IGTV, I never had a script. From Puppet Millionaire all the way up to Valentine's Day Doppelganger, I never had a script. Every single line was an improvised line. And honestly, it's kind of impressive how long I kept that going. However, I managed to stop here because that was my last straw. Keep in mind, this is a holiday special, so I wanted to release it on the exact day of Valentine's Day. And I had to edit the whole thing on Valentine's Day, still have scenes to film on Valentine's Day, and at the end of it all, it was just a rushed product that I wish I put more time into. Now, the reason why it's an honorable mention is because, again, it's very important to the lore.
The lore!
And it was something that's brought up in a bunch of other videos. And there are a ton of good elements in the video, but unfortunately, because it was rushed, it really makes you feel heartbroken.
What is it, honey?
Hey look, here are the credits!
As for the second honorable mention, you may remember that a significant rule on this list was that there should be no short posts on this list or any videos that are under 80% original. And you'd be surprised how this really narrows down the nominations. However, let's say that we take away that rule, and suddenly every video is allowed to be on here. Now you may be asking, which one out of all of these videos is the worst one? Out of all the short posts made, out of all the dubbing videos, out of all the impression videos, which one of these is the worst one out there? Well, I know there's a lot of options, but I'm gonna have to go with this video.
Talking to a camera for the first time. Hi.
Oh. He's just a dude.
Ah yes, the dream face reveal video. Were we really surprised it'd be on this list at some capacity? Now I'll be honest, I do have a laugh whenever I watch this video, cause I honestly forgot about all the jokes that I made in there, and honestly, you know, it's Twitter, you know, so what do you expect? They're bound to give you either something very funny because they're so stupid, or, I don't know. Now let me just clarify that I am not a Dream fan in any way. I don't watch any of his videos, and I don't plan to for any sort of time. I'm not part of the whole Dream SMP or any of that. I don't even play Minecraft that much. I mean, I play it, and if you think it's fine, I just don't devote all my hours into it like some other people. Now the point of this video was, some of y'all blew Dream's face reveal way out of the water, and this video was actually meant to show both sides of the story. One side being Chester's side, where they just see the face reveal and then move on with their day, and others are just spending all day just clowning this man because of how he looks. Now, say what you want about Dream and all about the controversy he's been through, but I personally don't think it's right to just harass someone based on the way they look. And that's what the video was about. It wasn't about any of the controversy that Dream went through, because let's be honest, he's been through a lot of them, and it was just supposed to be a dumb video based on the whole Dream face reveal thing. I was surprised to see that the video did reach over 1K views, but honestly, the less people see this video, the better.
Now grow up and think about what you just did.
But he's so ugly!
You're ugly!
Now I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. Even before making this list, I knew that there was only one video that would immediately be at the #1 spot of the worst list. And if you've seen all the Pierce Puppets Productions videos, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. The one that I, friends, and fans all unanimously agree that this is not only the worst Pierce Puppets Productions video, but also one of the worst videos that I have ever made. But in order to share which one it is, in case you don't know already, we're going to need to go back to a time. A good time. No, a wonderful time. But not just a wonderful time. For the #1 worst Pierce Puppets Productions video, it's...
With the most wonderful time of the year.
Back in the days of IGTV, I was mostly making just holiday specials. Despite that, there have only been 3 holidays that I ever made full videos on. Valentine's Day, Halloween, and of course, Christmas. I remember back in the days where at the time, I thought that my Christmas special did really well, so I wanted to do something even bigger for my sequel. And the thing that we got was something worse. First problem, this was in the improvised area, so I had no idea what a story even was. And to this day, I can't even tell you what the story is. They sing a song, they try to practice for Christmas, Derpy tries to give something to Googly, and Lashbet shows up and says he's sorry for everything that he does. What? It's like this video took the entire concept of lore and just threw it out the window. Now the difference between this video and Valentine's Day Doppelganger is that with Valentine's Day Doppelganger, the characters are not afraid to at least mention its existence. It's canon to the lore because, well, Lester.
The lore!
And it's actually one of the most important videos that I've ever made, despite me not liking it so much. With this video, on the other hand, none of the characters want to acknowledge its existence. I don't want to acknowledge it, Chester doesn't want to acknowledge it, even Lashmat himself doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Chester and the Christmas Special 2 is not canon because of how badly Nico hates that episode.
And that's another problem. Lashmat. Literally, why would he go to the character's house to apologize for all the things that he's done in the past, all because it's Christmas? Like, you think just because, oh, it's Christmas, I'll have a change of heart? Man, Lashmat won't do that! And that's another problem. The characters. A lot of them are so out of character from their natural selves. In this video, Derpy is acting a lot smarter than he usually would because, well, he's not the most brightest person. And secondly, everyone in this scene is a very, very, very big jerk.
What is up, my dog? Oh, come on! Okay, seriously, what is up, my dog? Chester, just stop! You're never going to sound cool no matter how many black words you say.
That makes it clear you're in love, Box Boy. Sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Real funny, guys. Real mature.
Keep in mind, this was back in the days where Chester's character wasn't really well developed yet. And during his beginnings, he was kind of a jerk. Especially the Derpy. Thankfully, during the late IGTV era and the YouTube era, he was given more of a heart and more of a character. He's always there to look out for the people he loves, and he'll do anything to make sure that they are happy and they have the best experience in the world, and he's not going to put up with anyone's bullcrap. However, in his early days, he was just a complete jerk.
I want to ask Googly to be my Valentine. You serious?
And don't think only Chester's not getting off easy. Derpy and Chris are also kind of jerks in this scene. Derpy immediately cons Chester the moment he enters the room, and Chris joins Chester in acting like a jerk when he finds out that Derpy is in love with Googly. And that's the thing we actually haven't touched upon in future episodes. Another thing that's bad are the songs. Oh my gosh, the songs. They range from decent to straight up bad. The first song is The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, the second song is Mordu's solo, Here Comes Santa Claus, and the final song is everyone singing We Wish You a Merry Christmas. To be fair, I was still developing my singing voice, and it really wasn't fully developed yet. Thankfully, it's much better now, but looking back on it, I just cringe every time I hear it, because the mic quality is bad, and some of the singing is bad too. Like, it was so off-key.
Jump in bed and cover up your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, riding down Santa Claus Lane.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
With those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call.
It's the happy season of all.
Okay, Derpy kind of carried that note, not gonna lie. And that's the reason why this episode is so bad. It has a horribly executed story, the puppetry is mediocre, the songs range from decent to bad, the characters are so mean-spirited or contribute to nothing at all, and the lore is just completely thrown out the window. This episode is literally the worst Pierce Puppet Productions videos ever made. Screw this episode, screw this Christmas special, Fahu Rainbow, all of you, and you will go down in history. Chester, the Christmas special 2, will go down in history as the worst Pierce Puppets Productions video ever made! Whew, that was a lot. But I think we had enough negativity for one day. Keep in mind, it is the 5-year anniversary of Pierce Puppets Productions, so we need to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate is from jumping from the worst list to the best list. Yeah, that's right. Let's see what videos we actually like. What videos should we actually watch and enjoy? Well, let's take a look at the top 5 best Pierce Puppets Productions videos. Out of all the videos on this list, this one is often considered to be the most shocking. And no, it's not considered shocking because of how much quality is put into the video. It's shocking because none of the other Pierce Puppets Productions videos could even reach to the level this video has. What's that supposed to mean? Well, that's supposed to mean that this is the most viewed Pierce Puppets Productions video.
Yes, we were.
Everyone loves you.
Yes, we do.
Everyone wants to be you.
Yeah, we do.
You are the best.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ah yes, the one video that started this entire arc. Back in the days when Security Breach first released, it was released to mixed reviews. But, once again, people were simping for the characters in the game. So I thought, this is a perfect idea. But the problem was I had to pick a character who would simp for these characters. It obviously couldn't be Chester because, well, he has a girlfriend. And none of the other characters could really reach to the simping level that, well, Douglas has. I did have to pick a character on who Douglas would simp for. I noticed that a lot of people were simping for Roxy, so I picked Roxy.
I heard that.
And the outcome of the video was way better than I even expected. I remember when the video first hit 1,000 views, and it just kept going. Eventually it did stop at 28k, but still, one of my videos has 28k views. That's insane! Now the reason why the #1 most viewed video is not on the #1 list is because, well, there are a bunch of other videos better than this one, but the fact that it reached 28k views deserves to be on a spot here. With how fun it was to make and the reception that it got, this really does prove that this video is indeed a superstar.
Thanks, Freddy.
You know what's a really good feeling? Winning a game. The fact that you've spent hours or probably so much practice putting into your rounds just so you can win one is one of the best feelings ever. What's not a good feeling is the fact that people will literally con you for winning, saying that you're either spamming or hacking. So in order for them to win, they have to resort on something that's not their own skills, but rather a toy.
This I gotta see. Well, Chester, have you ever seen one of these?
Is that a Banjo-Kazooie amiibo?
You bet it is.
Chester and the Amiibo was the first new Chester and the Others video when jumping to YouTube. Well, technically it is. I mean, it's shorter than the other ones, but it's still a Chester and the Others video. Chester and Chris are going neck to neck in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and they're tied at 4-4 wins. First to 5 wins gets the win. With Chester winning the last round and Chris calling him a spammer, Chris decides to rely on his ultimate weapon in order to win the game, because, well, that was a rule. You can use any method you want to win. And then Chris pulls out a Banjo-Kazooie amiibo, still some of my favorite characters in the whole game. The result ended up with Chester losing and Chris winning, and ended up with another fight that's not Smash Bros. You know, this video really does prove that short and simple can be good, and no matter what method you use to make videos, you can always end up being the winner.
Imagine losing to a toy. You have to be so bad.
Well, you know what? I am the thousand
No.
I don't want to hear any more excuses. My hands to play the
5
game.
wins.
While
I
you
got
use
the
the
5th
freaking
win.
toys
Stop being
AI to
upset
play
that
the
you
game.
lost.
And you know,
Stop
for
being
the
a
record,
crybaby.
I don't
You're
even
such a crybaby.
We really argue like that, Kazooie?
No, Banjo. Our arguments are not as obnoxious as this one.
You got that right, Kazooie. Huh?
Okay, I get it. A lot of video game based videos were on this list, and it is true that I have made a whole ton of video game based videos, but I promise, with this list, this will be the last one based on a video game. And in all honesty, that may have given it away to some people, but some of you still may be clueless as to what it is. And for that, all you have to do is...
Look out your window.
Hello there.
Who is that?
Eh? What do you mean? Who am I?
It's a me, Wario.
That's right, it's a me, Wario!
Excuse me. I'm getting over a long cold. Anyways, we all knew it was going to be on this list at some point. Chester and the WarioWare is one of my favorite videos that I have ever made. First reason why it's so good, it's Wario! This was around the time of WarioWare Get It Together's release, and I really did love that game. In fact, I loved it so much that I based an entire Chester and the Others episode based off of it. Well, not necessarily Get It Together, but the entire concept of WarioWare in general. This video is everything that you can ask for in the Chester and the Others video. It has a great story, it has a whole ton of funny moments, the puppetry is actually really good here, the editing is top notch, and fun fact, only the intro was used with Adobe Premiere Pro. The rest of it was used with iMovie. I know it's hard to believe, but there's a bunch of tricks that you can use to make it look like this, and I'm really proud of the result. It has animations, it has a Twitch stream, and one of the best characters ever created.
If you come on down to Trader Data Gators, you can find the best cars, you can find the best deals, you can find just about the best anything at Trader Data Gators.
Now the reason why this is at number 3 instead of
Number 1! I gotta win!
is because of the mic quality. Back in the day, I thought that using the iMovie mic was some of the best mic quality that you can get. And, no. Granted, it's not insufferably bad, but you could still hear a difference between this mic and the iMovie mic. Thankfully, when I swapped over to Audacity, a lot of the mic quality is much more crisper and cleaner, and there's not a whole lot of background noise. But all of those things are minor compared to this really awesome video. If you want a good laugh, a good video based on a video game, and just some good fun in general, watch Chester and the WarioWare.
Cause you really will find the best everything with it.
How it happened
You know, I think it's time for a redemption. What do I mean by redemption? Well, I mean taking some of my worst videos and making it 1,000 times better. Believe it or not, I indeed have already done that. Remember how we all collectively hate Chester and the Christmas Special 2? Well, you should. What if we took some elements of that, created a brand new story, and made much more likable characters? Well, if you put all of that into account, you get this. Here is the story of Chester and the Ghost Who Stole Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Now this is how you make a Christmas special. To sum up this video, it's what Chester and the Christmas Special 2 should have been. This video has a much more well thought out story, much more listenable songs, and even more songs in general, much more likable characters, much more laughs, much more heartwarming moments, and overall just more! Without getting into it too much, this really pushed the boundaries of what I could do whenever I make a video. It really showed the word improvement. While it is called Chester and the Ghost Who Stole Christmas, and while he does play a major role in this, the episode is mostly revolved around Mordu. Basically, many Christmases ago, Mordu lost one of his best friends and someone that he really loved, Mabel. And that really caused him to go in a huge downward spiral throughout his life. Despite him having so many good memories and taking care of all the puppets, he still felt like there was something missing in his life, and that was Mabel. So for Christmas, Chester really wants to help Mordu get back with Mabel, but he doesn't quite know how to. How does he do it? Well, with the real reason why this episode shines. It's the villain.
Last man.
Yeah, free, blah, 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 blah. You're lonely, evil monologue, doodly, 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 doo, get inside the push.
That's right. Lashmad reprises the role as the villain, and this time, he's not here to apologize. He's here to put things his own way for Christmas. And this time, he actually follows, say it with me now,
the lore!
And that's not the only factor that makes this video so good. It's the fact that there are a whole bunch of characters from the Pierce Puppets Productions universe in this video. And the fact that they were given a chance to have their own spin-offs and other sort of works really opens the door for much more creativity in Pierce Puppets Productions. And of course, the songs. The songs are so much better here. Want an example? Just listen to this snippet from Chester and the Christmas Special 2 and compare it to How the Ghost Stole Christmas.
Parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. Scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmas is long, long ago. There'll be parties for hosting,
Marshmallows for toasting and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago.
Alright, everybody, it's time to bring it on. Come on, you can do it. There it is.
I think we know which one is better here. Not only did this video do well from a creative standpoint, but the audience seemed to like it as well. I remember one of my friends telling me that despite the video being over 40 minutes, it didn't even feel like 40 minutes because of how fast the story went and how engaging the story was. And to me, that really does mean a lot. This really goes to show that if you take one of your trashes and make it into a brand new treasure, it can really give you the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful time. Oh, the most wonderful time of the year. Now, I know that was great. It was so fun praising this film, and I'm really glad that you guys were here to enjoy it. However, there's one more thing that we gotta do before we get to our number one spot, and that's the best list's honorable mention. Okay, I'm gonna need you guys to sit down for this one because this is a really sad episode. This episode most likely won't make you laugh, but if anything, it'll make you kind of cry. Why will it make you cry? Because it does have a bunch of heart-wrenching moments. And honestly, there really is nothing that can make this episode worthy of the list because just of how sad it is.
Hey, at least I'm black.
Of course, Chester and the Valentine's Day special just had to be on this list in some capacity. This episode is one of the most important episodes ever created, and quite frankly, one of the most memorable too. Sure, it was part of the improvised era, but at least you got what the story was. Derpy wants to write a letter to Googly on Valentine's Day. Chester laughs at the fact because, well, remember, his character back in the day was not the best. And then Derpy tells Chester that he'll be single on Valentine's Day, and that really does hit Chester in the gut. So he just goes moping around saying how single he will be on Valentine's Day, and then Mordu is like, you know what? I got you. Here, look at this. And so, this introduced the character named Chelsea.
Chelsea?
Oh, you must be Chester.
What are you doing here?
Well, Mordu told me you were coming to the park to be alone, so I came here.
Well, one ticket to Kiss Town, please.
Now I will admit that meetup was kind of dumb, but it was good dumb. This was one of the episodes that really got people's attention into what I could do. Sure, I released Puppet Millionaire and Christmas Special a while back, but Valentine's Day? Oh, that brought a lot of people in. And I think the reason why it's so good is because of my high expertise level of
Hey, what about me?
Oh, yep! Who could forget? The homie Caleb starred in this episode, making his debut in the Pierce Puppet Productions universe. Yes, Caleb is canon. And honestly, he was one of the factors that carried this episode. He created one of the best lines ever said in a Pierce Puppet Productions video. Actually, no, scratch that. Two of the greatest lines ever said in a Pierce Puppet Productions video. He really did carry this episode. And the reason why it's an honorable mention and not really on the list is because, well, of its age. Looking at videos now and looking at this video from the past, you can see a lot of things have changed. But you can always still look back to it and have a great time with it because, well, it's a good video. Some people may be single, but if you look back on this episode, you'll love it so much that you'll forget that you're single.
Who claps after movies?
Oh, and one more thing. If you're enjoying this list or any of the other videos I've made here, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Making these videos takes a whole lot of time and work, and I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribed because it really showed how much you guys appreciate the videos. Anyways, for number one, I don't think any of us were surprised for this entry. Even before making this list, once again, I knew that there would be only one video that would immediately be on the best list. Not only is this video the biggest Pierce Puppets Productions video I ever made, production-wise, not only does it have the most biggest cast list out of any Pierce Puppets Productions video ever made, not only is it the most biggest collaborative work I've ever done, but also the best Pierce Puppets Productions video ever made. But in order to figure that out, we need to figure out what happened. What exactly happened? For the number one best Pierce Puppets Productions video ever made, we need to
help me figure out what happened to Nico.
We all saw it. Chester and the Way What Happened to Nico is the best Pierce Puppets Productions video ever made. This video was a collaborative work between my two friends, Caleb and Jeremy. They helped me write the script, and we all created this wonderful, wonderful thing. Caleb was actually more my closest partner whenever creating this video. He helped me bring together the cast, he helped me bring together the props, he helped me bring together the production, and overall, it looked like a very wonderful video. And Jeremy, as always, animated some of the segments on the video, and better yet, he let me use some of his characters from the Trio Brigade universe and put it into this video. The thing about this video is that it just all started off with just a simple idea. Since I voiced all of the characters, what would happen if I was gone? And the result was much better than I thought it would be. The story is well paced and well thought out, the comedy has reached a new level that I haven't before thanks to Caleb and Jeremy, the puppetry is really good, in the parts where it should be, and once again, this video has the biggest cast in any other Pierce Puppets Productions video. And people who have appeared in a Pierce Puppets Productions video before, like Ani, Emily, Mason, and Cole, and as well as some new members like Brandon and Quinn. This really was a collaborative effort to the max. And yes, while it did have a whole bunch of road bumps, which I'll talk about in a later video, at the end, it really did make a wonderful, wonderful video. Not just a wonderful video, but the best Pierce Puppets Productions video of all time.
Lactose intolerant!
Juggernaut!
Lactose intolerant!
Jordon Beans Productions!
The only thing that I can do now is try to top that video, but that's a story for another time. Anyways, now that that's all finished, there's one last thing I do have to say. Happy 5-year anniversary to
Pierce Puppets Productions! Oh, and one more thing. If you enjoyed that video, then be sure to click this playlist up there to watch some more great videos from the channel. And if you want to subscribe, click on the subscribe button right here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.